Hi friends, my name is Millie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you some short book recommendations, aka books that you can read in under a day. So I know that we go on a lot about reading goals, and of course reading goals are purely, they don't mean anything. Reading goals don't actually mean anything. If you read one book in a year, if you read 500 books in a year, it doesn't matter, you're still a reader. But I always like to set a reading goal for myself and I always want to achieve it. So if I feel like by the end of the year I'm not that close to achieving it, I kind of want to pick up some books that I know I can finish pretty quickly. So for me that will generally be a certain genre, like romance books I know I can read really quickly, or it will be a book that is lower page count. So I have got 14 short book recommendations for you today that will hopefully be able to help you reach your reading goals if you've set a reading goal and if you are wanting to try and catch up to it. Of course, quality over quantity every single time, but these books I've enjoyed. So these are also quality short books as well. So all of these are under 300 pages, and I think the biggest one of these is like 285 pages. So these are all really, really short. So hopefully these will be good for helping you to reach your reading goals. So we're going to start off with the book that kind of sparked my idea for this video, and it is Goblins and Greatcoats by Travis Baldree. So this is a tiny short story set in the world of Legends and Lattes, which is also quite a short book actually. I don't even know how many pages that is, but that's also quite a short book and one that you can read really quickly and enjoy. But anyway, we're talking about Goblins and Greatcoats. So Goblins and Greatcoats stands at a whopping 36 pages long. That was the version that I read at least. I'm pretty sure on Goodreads it's listed as even less pages than that. So if you've read Legends and Lattes, or you just want a fun little fantasy murder mystery short story, go for Goblins and Greatcoats. You can also download it for free. Actually, I downloaded it for free. I think it was off of the publisher's website or off of some sort of website. You can literally just search it up and find it. But yeah, you can literally read it for free and it adds to your reading goal. And the one that I read was 36 pages, so very quick and easy to read. You can literally read it in like, even if you read, I don't know, a page a minute, I guess, you'd literally read it in 30 minutes. So super quick and easy to read and would add to your reading goal. The next book that I have got is The Cat Who Saved Books by Sasuke Natsukawa, and this one is 224 pages, and this is so lovely. This was one of the first books that I read this year, and I actually got it for my mum for Christmas, and then she read it and loved it and gave it to me to read. And first of all, the foiling, stunning, but also it's really just a book about the love of books and the love of cats. It's also largely around grief, so I would bear that in mind. It's about this little secondhand bookshop who's owned by the main character's grandfather, and the grandfather has passed away. And the main character, I think he's in high school or around that age, and he's kind of looking that he's going to have to close the shop until one day a cat appears and asks him to go and save books with him, and they need to go and save these books that are being mistreated or imprisoned by people who don't understand the power of books or do understand the power and are misusing it. And it is just such a lovely little story. It was really cute. I think I gave it 4 or 4.5 stars, and it was adorable. You can literally read this in a day. So cute, really lovely, just kind of like that perfect book to curl up with, like right now when the weather is cold and kind of a bit gloomy outside and you just want to escape into a lovely little story. This one's perfect to pick up. We then have what I imagine is going to be a surprise to hear me recommend. It's a classic. It is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. My edition of this is 152 pages, so really short to read. Now classics obviously are sometimes harder to get into. I mean, I have a lot of classics up there, and some of them are massive and I'm very intimidated by them. But this one I feel like was really accessible and really easy to understand and get into the story with, despite the fact that it's a classic. It's told by Nick Carraway and it's telling the story of Jay Gatsby, who is a millionaire, and his pursuit of Daisy Buchanan, who is a woman that he loved in his youth. And it's both a very sad story and it's also a story about like the American dream, and I gave this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I know that Violet has absolutely loved this book. So yeah, I know it's a surprise to me recommending a classic, but pick up The Great Gatsby. We then have what is one of my favourite reads of this year, and that is My Fro Open Grave by Tori Bovolino. This is 207 pages long and I absolutely adored this. This was a 5-star read for me. This is, I guess, technically classed as a horror book, but it's not scary. It is the story of this town that's surrounded by a forest or a woods, and in this town you have this kind of folktale of the Lord of the Woods who will come and take the babies away of sinners, I believe it is, and he replaces them with bundles of sticks or whatever. Our main character Leah, her baby brother is taken while she is watching him, and she is forced to go and find the Lord of the Woods and beg for her brother back, except for the fact that no one has ever come back from going on a rescue mission like this. But when she comes across the Lord of the Woods, she realises that not all the tales are as they seem. And this book really deals a lot with religion and religious trauma. There's also quite a few creepy moments, but there's also a lot of really lovely kind of found family moments and a little romance going on here. And honestly, this book is just so underrated. I cannot even explain how underrated it is. It is just an absolutely fantastic book, just so gorgeous, so well written, completely captivating, and gripped me the entire time. And you can read this in just one sitting because it is quite fast paced as well. And it's also a book perfect for the current weather, perfect for cold autumnal weather. And yeah, I need more people to read this book because not enough people have read it. It is not hyped up enough and it should be so much more hyped up than it is. My Fro Open Grave. Absolutely incredible. We then have another little kind of novella. It is Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman. So this is like 150 pages and this is set in the world of Heartstopper, but you don't have to have read the graphic novels in order to read this. You could have just watched the TV show, you could just kind of know a bit about the characters. I would recommend reading the Heartstopper graphic novels before reading this, but you don't necessarily have to. This came out before the graphic novels, I believe, or alongside the first one maybe. This is just really cute. It's a really lovely story. It's just about Nick and Charlie right before Nick goes off to university, and it's a little bit sad, it's a bit bittersweet, but I just love these characters. And if you know these characters from the TV show or the graphic novel series, just pick up this little novella. It's really cute. Yeah, as it says, this is literally a love story. It's so sweet. I love it. I love it. Also, you should read the Heartstopper graphic novels. This isn't like an official recommendation from this video, but Heartstopper graphic novels, they're a bit long, I guess, to be included in these videos. They're each over 300 pages, I believe, but they're really quick to read. You can read the Heartstopper graphic novels in a day easily. Like, you could read all 5 of them in a day easily, but you could definitely read at least one of them. So I would definitely say pick up a graphic novel as well if you're looking to up your reading goal. I know a lot of people don't think graphic novels count, but they definitely do because you're still reading. And speaking of graphic novels, I have got one to recommend, which is The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill. This is under 100 pages. Yeah, this is literally like 60 pages if you don't count the little extras at the back. So at the back you've kind of got little bits about the tea dragons. If you count those, then it's still under 100 pages, but the main story is about 60 pages long, and it is just a very gorgeously illustrated, first of all, little graphic novel series about tea dragons. Dragons that grow tea leaves and you can make tea out of them, and it's so sweet. It's also queer, which is lovely, and it is just an absolutely adorable graphic novel series. There's 3 books. This is the first one. You also have the Tea Dragon Festival and the Tea Dragon Tapestry. I've only read the second one. I haven't read the third one yet. These are just so cute, so pick these up, please. And they definitely count as part of your reading goal. Graphic novels count, guys. I promise. We've then got the longest book of this video, which at 285 pages is Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. So this is an adult romance book, and you do have a book that comes before this called Done and Dusted. That one is actually shorter than this one, but this has been my favourite of the two out of the series that I've read so far. So I thought I'd recommend this one instead. So this is basically cowboy romances. Really cute, set on Rebel Blue Ranch, and you have two brothers and a sister, and that's kind of like who the love interests are. And in this one you have Ada and Weston, and they are absolutely adorable. This book also deals or talks about really well depression, which I really appreciated. You don't really see that a lot in romance books, but I thought it was handled so well in this. And you can also actually get these books on Kindle Unlimited, I'm pretty sure, so if you didn't want to buy the physical copies you could just read them on your Kindle if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. These are so cute. These are really cute. They're just fun, cute little romances. I read this in a couple of hours, I believe. It was part of a 24-hour readathon that I did, and it's just so cute. Don't know how to explain it. This one in particular, the main couple are like, they communicate so well, and that is the thing I think that Lila Sage does really well with the two books that I've read of hers. The third one has just come out actually, it's called Lost and Lassoed, and I'm really excited for that. But out of the two books that I've read, the communication is done so well. Like, they actually talk to each other. In so many romances, the main couple don't actually speak or have a conversation about anything. But in her books, they actually do. Wes is the king of communication. He knows Ada inside and out, and he knows exactly how to handle her stubbornness and her kind of, I don't want to say commitment issues, but she does have like a fear of commitment. And yeah, he knows exactly how to handle her, and it is just so good. Such a top tier romance series. I cannot even, just read them. If you love romance books, read the Lila Sage Rebel Blue Ranch books, and this one's my favourite so far. We then have one that I believe is out on, it's either on audiobook or on Kindle, but the physical copies don't come out until January. It is The Healing Season of Pottery by Yeon So-min, and this is a translated work. It's translated from Korean, and this is basically the story of burnout, essentially. This comes in at around 250 pages, and the main character is just really burnt out. She's quit her job and she doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life. She's just really fed up with life, essentially, fed up with everyone around her, fed up with the fast-paced movement of the world and stuff. And she comes across this pottery cafe and she starts selling pottery, and it is just a really gorgeous tale of how creativity is kind of an answer to a lot of people's problems. A lot of people experience burnout because of highly stressful jobs and things like that, but creativity can really help with that, and it's just a really lovely story. I think I gave this 3.5 stars. It wasn't my favourite translated works or favourite contemporary book that I've read, but it was just really sweet, and I really love the message of it, and it's one you can read in a day. We then have, and hold your horses, another classic. It is Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is such a pretty edition, first of all. This one is 157 pages, so again, a really short classic, and this one I think is even easier to read than The Great Gatsby because this is technically a children's classic, so it is a lot more accessible. And also, I guess depending on which edition you've got, there are illustrations. So obviously that makes it a lot quicker to read as well. But I love the story of Alice in Wonderland. It's so fantastical and whimsical, and love any adaptations that have been made of it as well. I think it's just a really lovely story to escape into, and such a fun world to escape into as well. You know, you've got the Mad Hatter and the Queen of Hearts and Tweedledum and Tweedledee, and I think it is just such a fun children's classic. And yeah, I always have a great time whenever I'm reading Alice in Wonderland. I think you should read this one. Children's classics as well, so accessible. One of my favourite classics of all time is Little Princess, and I just absolutely adore that book. And it is, even though it's quite a sad story and quite different, I guess, that book is just so easy to get into and so on, easy to understand because it's a children's classic. So I guess if you are also struggling to get into classics, pick up a children's classic like Alice in Wonderland. We then have a YA contemporary with My Mechanical Romance by Alexine Farrell Fulmuth, and this is actually the author of The Atlas Six and Masters of Death and Alone with You and Aoife. So it is Olivia Blake writing under her, well, this is her real name. Olivia Blake is a pen name, so it's writing under her real name. But this is a YA contemporary romance and it is so cute. This stands at like 260 pages, I believe. It is basically about a robot building competition. So I'm assuming that these are a lot more popular in America. I don't remember, maybe it was just my secondary school, but at my secondary school we didn't have like a robotics club or anything like that I can think of. Yeah, it's basically about a robotics club and it's set at this genius school essentially. But you're following Belle, who is forced to join the robotics club when she reveals a talent for engineering, and then you enter Matteo, who is the captain of the football team and the robotics club, and they realise that they've made more than just a combat ready robot for the championship. They've made a connection themselves. They have to survive like this competition and graduation and stuff like that, and it's so cute. It was so easy to read, really adorable. You know, if you've read any of Olivia Blake's books, you'll know that she writes so well, and that does really translate over to her YA books here. Like, this was written so well and so joyfully. I loved it. We then have one that is perfect for spooky season, which I know October is over, but spooky season can extend a bit into November. It is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. You can obviously read this any time of year, but it is a vampire book. It is a Dracula retelling, and this is actually the indie edition, so this is 235 pages, and I believe that the traditionally published edition is slightly longer. I think it's more closer to 300 pages. Still a really short read because this is told in the form of letters, and each chapter is very short. It's really fast paced, and it's, yeah, so some chapters are literally like a line long, so some of them are so quick to read. But this is a retelling of Dracula. It is told from the perspective of one of his wives, and this is also polyamorous and queer, and you are following like so it's Constanta, who is having to choose between her own freedom and her love for her husband, and it's really lyrically written. I've read this and An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, and I do have Evocation to read, but I think that this one is still her standout works. It's so poetic and beautiful and romantic, as well as being like showing that kind of danger of obsession, and it is just a gorgeous book. And I think if you love Dracula or just vampire books, A Dowry of Blood is an absolutely fantastic one to pick up. And I definitely prefer the indie cover to the traditionally published cover, but anyway. I then have another graphic novel to recommend you, which I don't own a physical copy of, but it is Sprite and the Gardener. And this was like 89 pages long, I think, and it is just adorable. The art style is absolutely gorgeous, and it's following this little sprite who, years ago, before humans became, humans, sprites used to take care of gardens and flowers and all things like that, but since humans kind of took over the world, sprites' magical talents have kind of become a thing of the past. But then this one little sprite, Wisteria, she discovers like her talent for gardening and makes friends with the gardener of the garden, the human, and it's just such a sweet story. The art style is so pink as well, which I love, and yeah, cute graphic novel, tells a lovely message about gardening and kindness and friendship and the love of nature and flowers especially, and yeah, just really sweet. I loved it. We then have what is actually the longest book of this video, which I didn't realise. It is A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tara Maffey. This is actually the longest one because it is just under 300 pages. This is 297 pages, I think it is. And this one I gave 5 stars. I absolutely love this. So Tara Maffey is the author of the Shatter Me series, which are also really quick to read. But this one is set in the year after 9/11, and it's following Shirin, who has just started at another high school. She's a 16-year-old Muslim girl who wears hijab, and she's never surprised by how horrible people can be, as I'm sure you can imagine, in America after 9/11. And she meets Ocean, who is the first person in Forever who really seems to want to get to know her. And this is really a book about first love and prejudice, and it was just gorgeous. This just absolutely blew me away. I completely fell in love with this. I read it in one sitting. Super quick and easy to read as well, despite the fact that it does deal with some very heavy topics which are quite difficult to read about. It was also quick to read, if that makes sense. You have just an incredible main character. I loved Shirin. I loved Ocean. He was so earnest and warm, and them together was just absolutely adorable. There was one specific page in here, I think it was page 200, that I was just like squealing at. It was so good. You also have an incredibly powerful look at what it was like to be a 16-year-old Muslim girl wearing hijab in the year after 9/11. It's really heartbreaking and gut-wrenching, but then you have this beautiful love story alongside that. And I think it just made for such a powerful book in such a short space of time, and I would really recommend this, especially if you maybe want to cry. And the last book that I've got is 256 pages, and that is Fake Dates and Mooncakes by Shirley. So first of all, let's appreciate the corgi on the cover. Very, very cute. This one is a YA contemporary, and you're following Dylan, who is juggling school and delivery runs for his aunt's struggling Chinese takeout in Brooklyn, and he needs to win a mooncake competition so that they can stay afloat. And then you also have Theo, who is a charming, wealthy customer who convinces Dylan to be his fake date to a family wedding full of crazy rich drama, and so fake dating, obviously. But soon Dylan is falling for Theo for real, and then with the mooncake contest looming, Dylan can't risk being distracted by rich people problems. This was just so heartfelt and really, really sweet. I love the food aspect. There is so much food in here, it'll make you feel so hungry while you're reading it. It was a really just gorgeous YA contemporary. Like, I love a good YA contemporary that you're just like, it gives you hope for the world, I guess. And I actually felt like this could have been longer. Like, I've wanted to spend more time with these characters because I love them so much. It was, I guess, a little bit insta-lovey for me, but for a book that's only 250 pages, it's going to be. But if you're looking for just a fun YA contemporary, I'd recommend picking this one up. So there we have it. These are the 14, but these are 12 of them, short books that I would recommend to help you reach your reading goal. I mean, some of them, like Swift and Sad, was looking pretty big there. I promise it is super quick to read. I would really recommend all of these to help you reach your reading goal. They're fun, they're short, sappy, quick reads. Also, just pick up a graphic novel. Graphic novels are so fun and just lovely. Always pick up a graphic novel as well if you're struggling to reach a reading goal. But remember, you don't have to set a reading goal. If you read only one book a year, you are still a reader. This is just a video to help those who, like me, love to set a goal and love to compete against themselves, but you absolutely do not have to set a goal or compete against yourself in any way, shape or form. Reading is not a competition. I do compete against myself. That's my own flaw. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed these short book recommendations. Let me know your own short book recommendations in the comments if you have any, or if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. And yeah, just everyone read My Fro Open Grave is, again, the message of like all of my videos. Everyone needs to read that book. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye!